Welcome to the Mixed Race Belonging podcast, where we explore the intersection of mixed identity and belonging through the lens of somatics and personal and collective liberation to help you heal your belonging wounds and build relationships where you can show up as your full-ass self. I'm your host, Raina LaGrand, an embodiment coach for mixed race people with a background as a trauma therapist, yoga teacher, and health educator. The tools and insights I share with you here are the approach that has not only helped me heal my belonging wound, but also helped me help my mixed race clients do the same. We all need something good to belong to right now. Relationships and spaces where we feel safe, held, seen, heard, and dignified. Thanks for being here, and let's get started with today's show. Hey y'all, welcome back to the podcast. So I have been talking a lot on my podcast about rejection sensitivity and how that is like the number one issue that my clients face that when we first start working together. That's what they bring into coaching, more or less. Sometimes it's different flavors, right? And the thing is that sensitivity, it comes from somewhere very real. As a mixed race person, you have probably endured a lot of rejection, othering, criticism, being misunderstood, and it's resulted in you feeling like you have to prove who you are, or you can't take up too much space, or you have to really meet other people's expectations of who you're supposed to be. Or, in what we're going to talk about today, you might feel like you have to self-select out of certain spaces. For instance, affinity spaces. You might feel like I can't join the all Black women's yoga retreat, or I can't go to the Latinx business conference because of your skin tone, or because you don't speak the language, or because it's just not right for you to be there because you have colonizer blood, or whatever it is. This is really common. I see this a lot, and I totally understand where it comes from. You don't want to put yourself through that pain that you've experienced before. And I also understand some of you are wanting to do right, to be aware of your privilege, and you feel like there's something corrective about like not entering these spaces. But the thing is, I don't think that that is the full truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I think that 9 times out of 10, you're gonna be welcome in those spaces. You're gonna be welcome in those spaces. There are millions of people in the world, and some of them, many of them, are potential sources of community for you, are potential friends for you. And I know from my own experience that sometimes in the past, when I haven't been sure if a space is right for me and I go, there are already other mixed folks in the space. There are already other light-skinned folks in the space who aren't questioning so much about whether they should be there or not. And I just also want to normalize, like, I know that I'm just telling you, don't self-select out of this space. I want to normalize that. I don't think that means that if you do try putting yourself in some of these spaces that you're going to do so without anxiety, that you're going to walk in and be the most confident person in the room. I actually posted something about this on my Instagram a few weeks ago, and I received just a lot of like comments that people felt validated by what I was posting, including from other practitioners that I know who are deeply embodied, confident beings who are mixed race and still sometimes wonder, ooh, can I go there? Can I do that? So not being anxious, being unsure is not it's not a prerequisite that you get rid of the anxiety and that you feel confident before you enter these spaces. Actually, going into these kind of spaces, these kind of groups, these kind of communities, and seeing that you are accepted or accepted by most of the people there, at least, is going to be an experience that kind of corrects your own limited beliefs around this, right? So I'm going to coach you a little bit on this today. I guess I've already started coaching you. And I also want to share personal story from my life, because I'm a pretty confident person, but I still have anxious parts of me. And I want to sort of show you how my own relationship with my body, my own somatic practice, my own relationship with my belonging wound has supported me in navigating affinity spaces. So, I recently joined a collage course for Black women, and I was so excited to come across this course. A client sent it to me. I've been having a lot of migraines this year, and so I've been doing a lot of collaging, and it's been a nice way to kind of do something without being on a screen when I'm kind of just stuck in the house feeling unwell. And so I've been Googling collage courses in the area, and I hadn't come up with anything. So my client sent me this email, and I was like, this is perfect. This is a sign from the universe. And I didn't think anything of it. I just signed right up. I didn't have any anxiety when I signed up. I've put myself in all Black spaces in the past. It's something that I have worked through and come to really appreciate and really need, honestly, in my life. Because let's be honest, if we're not putting ourselves in affinity spaces, and we're going to spaces that are maybe more white centered, that can be really draining and painful. Like, we do need spaces to be with other people of color, and specifically other people of color who share our lineage, in particular, our heritage. So I signed up for this course, and the first day I logged on. It's a Zoom course. I was so excited. I was like, ooh, yay, I'm in my art room getting ready for this collage course. It's going to be great. And we were doing introductions, and I was sharing how I learned about the course. And in the process of doing that, I disclosed, I'm a coach for mixed race people, and one of my clients sent me this course. And I noticed my body inside my chest kind of go, I felt nervous. I felt anxious. I felt like I had outed myself, even though clearly I look very mixed. It's very clear that I'm not monoracial Black. But I felt nervous, and I was like, what are they thinking? Oh gosh, I hope nobody thinks I'm like intruding. And in the past, a young Raina would have been like spiraling out about this. But because I was able to notice what was going on in my body and what was going on in my mind because of my somatic practice, I was able to pause, breathe, kind of step back, be with those parts of me, and remind them, okay, we actually just have to wait and see what happens now. And you know what happened? Absolutely nothing. The course went on. Everyone has been nothing but warm and inviting to me. In fact, during another session, we were talking about holidays and holiday parties, and we were talking about Halloween parties. And I was saying how I always want to host a Halloween party, but I have the kind of friends who are either too busy to come up with a costume or not creative enough. No shade, love my friends, but they just don't excel at a Halloween party. They excel at like a Friendsgiving, at like a potluck, a bonfire, that kind of thing. But Halloween is not their thing. So anyways, the facilitator actually reached out to me directly and said, hey, Raina, I was wondering if you would actually want to help organize a Halloween party for those of us who are local, because the teacher is located in Detroit. I'm not far from Detroit, and there are others in the group in Southeast Michigan. So that to me confirmed, she likes me. She likes me all right, right? And I had to wait and receive that feedback over time. So I actually posted about this particular story on TikTok, and a Black mom with mixed kids responded and just said like a very sweet message, something like, Black mom here of mixed kids, like, you are welcome in that space. Whenever you're, not welcome, it's not you, it's them. Just like a little sweet message. And I was like, thank you. And I was like, you are so right. Something that I have come to learn as a belonging expert of sorts, because I'm interested in belonging and race and culture broadly. I mean, I support mixed race people specifically, but belonging is such a potent topic theme for everyone in the world right now, especially those of us in the West, the global North. When people are unkind to us about our mixed race identity, when we are microaggressed, othered, made to feel like we don't belong, that is somebody actually protecting their own fragile sense of belonging, because belonging is so fraught and so conditional for everyone, for every race, for every culture here in the global North. We are all trying to survive white supremacy and maintain a semblance of belonging when we're all freaking traumatized. So I have come to really take some solace in that actually, if and when I am not welcome in a space, it's probably not about me, because I've done my work. I know how to hold both my privilege and my pain. I know when to make space for folks who are darker skin or who grew up with less economic privilege than me. I know how to make space for those people, right? And chances are, I think you probably do too. There are some mixed folks out there who are not as attuned to privilege maybe as they should be, but 9 times out of 10, I think we are so concerned about seeming like out of touch with privilege and oppression and power that we are hyper aware of how we're showing up in spaces. Okay, I'm rambling a little bit now, but it's all connected and I hope you're following along. My point is, you deserve to be in those spaces just as much as anyone else. And actually, I think sometimes because we're so hyper aware of our privilege, if we have light skin privilege, economic privilege, class privilege, language privilege, citizenship, whatever, we are so hyper aware of our privilege that I think sometimes people feel like they are doing the right thing by opting out of those spaces. But I actually think that just contributes to monoracism. It perpetuates this idea that there is one right way to be a certain race, or that racial categories in general are fixed or are helpful in some way, and they're not. This system of racialization is both real and fake. It is real in that it does shape policy and interpersonal relationships, and it is fake in that it's a legacy of colonialism and capitalism. I saw someone post recently that you can't appropriate your own lineage. You can't appropriate your own culture. That shit is in your blood. And that feels like such a indigenous way to really see our identities, is that all of our lineages that run through us, we are. I'm not trying to say you should launch some mixed race crusade where you put yourself in a space and demand that, that you should be there and everybody should respect you because of that. But just that, yeah, put yourself in a space and see what happens. It's the fuck around and find out method. And the thing is, at the end of the day, all you need is the capacity to be with what happens inside your body as a result of what happens outside of your body. You just need the capacity to be with your emotions and to trust yourself to navigate those situations. And maybe sometimes you will learn, actually, I entered this space and I realized for one reason or another, whether it's about me or about them, that that's not the space for me. And that's okay. And I'm going to keep it pushing. But in my example about my collage course, it's also can you trust yourself to be with the emotions that are coming up, with the not knowing that comes up, that you have to deal with the uncertainty of what's going to happen when you put yourself in a certain community space. And this is what I help people do in coaching every day, is to notice what's happening in your body as you think about certain things, do certain things, notice what's happening in your body, come into relationship with those parts of you, and move forward in a centered way so that you can have experiences that just kind of like complicate the limiting, kind of rigid narrative that you don't belong in a certain place or you don't belong anywhere. Because again, like I said, our rejection sensitivity kind of like patterns are real and they come from somewhere, and they're often like so much bigger than reality, because that's what trauma does. It like amplifies the possibility of harm. And yeah, you need to be like attuned to, okay, when am I going to get hurt, or when does my presence here make somebody else uncomfortable, and how do I navigate that? But again, 9 times out of 10, you're going to join a group, you're going to put yourself in a community space, and nobody's going to bat an eye. So stop self-selecting out of affinity spaces. If you want to talk through this or develop your own somatic skills around this, book a sales call with me. It's a free 60-minute call where we're going to spend most of the time just kind of fleshing out what it is that you're struggling with, so I can get a really good picture of where you're at. And then I'll kind of essentially develop like a customized plan for you that I'll share with you around what coaching with me would look like, what it would look like to join into my program. So in my show notes, there's a link to my website page where you can learn more and book a call. And I hope to talk with you soon.